to determine what the appropriate sentence is. When we're giving you the potential sentences here, there's the maximum sentence. So obviously a judge will look at their criminal history record and the facts of the case and make the appropriate sentence. The other thing my office is focused on is we're really focused on organizers, funders, and supporters of this violence. I'm not going to get into details on that yet, but one of the people we highlighted today was a guy who was handing out masks, face shields to rioters. And we are looking into who he was involved in doing that with and who paid for that. So we are very focused on looking at organizers and funders of these activities. And I'll tell you, a lot of the people we're arresting, they're not necessarily from this area. So there's a bigger story here, and I think that will come out over time.
And I will just briefly, in the last press conference when we announced charges against 8 individuals, one of them was a third striker. And the violent crime he's been alleged would be a third strike, which is why he was looking at 25 years to life as a maximum sentence. So yes, we do take those into account up front in deciding whether or not there are certain enhancements to bring on the state side. And Mr. Shelley's right, certainly at sentencing, someone with a long criminal history will most likely be treated differently by a court than someone with no criminal history.
You've gotten into something, Mr. Asali mentioned it, he doesn't want to get too much into the idea of the investigation of funders. There's some 30 or 40 different organizations that claim they're in, quote, solidarity with the protests. Are you looking to see if these people are providing the people who are arrested or others with funding to actually promote these protests or actually commit these criminal acts? We're talking agencies and the people who they are, NGOs.
We're looking at dozens of agencies and NGOs, and not agencies, we're looking at dozens of organizations and NGOs. The IRS is taking the lead on that, and we are absolutely doing that.
What do you get them for? What's the IRS involvement on that?
The IRS, they specialize in tracing the money and finding out where it's coming from and where it's going. So the IRS, this is what they do, and this is what they are doing. And like I said, that's a long-term investigation, but we're looking at a lot of organizations and NGOs.
Federal conspiracy charges possible?
I can't get into what the charges will be. We're looking into it.
Sorry, before Nathan tags you out again.
Please.
Sorry again, Mr. Sellers, questions for you. Can you explain a little more clearly the criminal I get I'm not trying to dismiss the context you put in with Oriana about what you found in his house, but the idea that giving away defensive materials is a crime is a little confusing to me, because I think you had said earlier the only people out there wearing masks or protective equipment would be involved in violent agitation. That's not entirely true. Like, members of the media wear gas masks covering these events. I tend to wear a gas mask covering these events. I don't like to breathe in tear gas at work if I can avoid it. So can you just explain a little more clearly why providing defensive equipment is...
You have to look at the context. He wasn't handing masks out at the beach. He was handing them out in downtown LA to people who are dressed similarly to those who are committing violence. They're dressed from gear top to bottom. They're covering their face. They're wearing backpacks. We've talked about what's been in the backpacks. You've got fireworks, you've got rocks. These weren't peaceful protesters. They weren't holding up signs expressing a political message. They were agitators, people who came to do violence. So you have to look at the context. There's no legitimate reason why a peaceful protester needs a face shield. If they're saying it's to defend them from the police don't attack protesters. They declare an unlawful assembly. They ask you to leave multiple times, and then they'll start deploying less lethal ammunition, projectiles, gas. But that's not peaceful protesters. You're at that point, you're a rioter, or you're in violation of state law because you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. I know why the media does it, because you're covering the riots, so I understand why a media person would need that. But people on the street don't need a face shield.